Good afternoon, YouTube. It's me, always George Page, coming to you live on YouTube. I hope y'all enjoyed your holidays and sharing them with those people you love and care about. But we have some sad news to report that one of the greatest men in this world, a man who fought against apartheid and racism and everything of the evils of the world, a man who was truly a man of God, a man who believed in the ideology of Jesus. Has passed away, the great late Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Now, if you don't know Tutu is, and I understand that you're either an idiot or you just don't, I'm not gonna get into the details of it, but anyway, it was confirmed today. It was yesterday when he passed away, the 26th, from complications from years of having, dealing with prostate cancer, and he passed away in his home in South Africa. And it's just some news that I saw this morning, and I had to do something about this because I try to do content especially when people who are great and who had done things that made them great passed away. Now, Bishop Tutu was born. I'm gonna get right. I want to make sure I get all the dates right so I won't mess up. He was born October 7th of 1931. And he grew up in a very religious household. His father was also himself a man of God. He was a preacher, and and he raised his family in the belief of religion and faith. He was a very respectful man, and this is around the times of the dealing, especially surviving through in South Africa's apartheid situation, the extreme racism and the control of whites during that time. When he got older, he followed the footsteps. He went to school, got educated. He originally was going to study medicine, but because he couldn't afford the cost of of tuition and fees, he just didn't follow that path. But he became an educator and became a teacher, and he teaches the youth and upcoming and people's belief in their faith. Now, in 55, he married his wife Leah. Now, I'm not gonna say her whole name because it is a hard name to say, and I don't want to be disrespectful by trying to say it. And they together had a family. And after a while, they raised their family. He had 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys. And they raised their family in the belief and faith. And then after a while, after his time as a teacher, Desmond Tutu decided to switch over to become Anglo, I think, Catholicist preacher. I mean, it's a different, it's still Christianity in one form or shape, but he made that switch, and he became a man of God. Now later on, he still fought for the rights of the people in South Africa and the apartheid, but he did it nonviolent, like remembrance of the great Dr. King. Now, by the 70s, he was a bishop, and he was a bishop in I think in Johannesburg for a while. And then he made his successes. He did it for a good bit, and then later he was promoted to Archbishop in Cape Town, South Africa. And there he still protests against apartheid and the racism that was going around South Africa. And by the 80s, he was really becoming a very prolific speaker of the truth of God, and also how every man in this world is equal. Now, between that time, he was nominated at least about 3 times, from 81 to 83, for the Nobel Peace Prize. And that's here with the great late Coretta Scott King. I mean, that's great. It was women like her supporting him. I think so much reminded me of her husband. And he won in '84. He won the Nobel Peace Prize, being one of, I think, a handful of black men in history, especially prevalent black men, to earn this award. Most notably, the great late Dr. King, and our 44th, one of the greatest presidents, I would say, in the world, Barack Hussein Obama. We miss you, Barack. We need you. We really need you now. And in around about the 90s, apartheid ended South Africa, and that was released from prison of Nelson Mandela. And it wasn't that long before Nelson Mandela became president after, a couple of years after his release. And him and Mandela, even though they were different sides of the fence when it comes to apartheid, Mandela was more like Malcolm X, while Desmond Tutu was more like Dr. King. But they still both supported each other and believed in the faith that Africa be free and have freedoms. But by that time he decided to retire from being a bishop. After around about 94. And then he started working a part of a coalition for truth, for for all the sins and all the evils that was done during the time of apartheid. And with that coalition, he handed President Mandela the book of all of the information he got. It was from between 96 to 98 when he was when they were doing this for the truth and justice of what was going on during apartheid. And he garnered some great friendships. There was one time the Dalai Lama wanted to come to South Africa, but he couldn't come because, they didn't want him there. But he supported Dalai Lama. They became good friends, both these men of faith and religion and of truth. And he even supported gay rights. He was really truthfully a man of God. He believed that no matter your sexual orientation, be you gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, you had the rights. And he also believed in the fight against HIV and AIDS, which was very strong and prevalent in Africa, not just South Africa, all Africa and all of the world. And he believed in that, And even though he met several presidents such as Reagan and also George Bush the first, but I think he really had more of a respect among presidents like Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, being they're both African. I think you can say a lot. Yes, he's American, but he's true. But Barack Obama had a foot in Africa. That's what made him such a great president. That he had a foot in both worlds, meaning he was a true African American. And even though he also had respect from the royal family, even though that during the Thatcher administration and during most of the British rule, they didn't really support the anti-apartheid movement. But the Queen had a lot of respect. The Queen had the English for a long time have territories in Africa, and the Queen had a lot of reverence for Africa, and she respected Desmond Tutu. And also the rest of the royal family, like Harry, and his brother, William, and and also their mother, the great Princess Di. She also had a love for Africa, and she, I think he had a great respect from the royal family. Well, even though he retired from being a bishop, he still fought for the freedoms and rights of humanities and just truthfully believe in the path that people should have the faith and respect of what the belief of what religion is. And then he got several awards during his time. In 2007, he was awarded the Gandhi Award, and then in 2009, he was given the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It's a great medal. Even though it's a great medal, it's just one of those medals that I think he deserved for recognition and respect. And he even believed in the rights of women to have a place in religion. Having spots such as in the church. To lead. Because if you think about it. Jesus was born to a woman, a virgin. And I think that's the thing that women support us. And after a while, he started to, get away from being a public figure. He wanted to spend his time with his family and friends, but he still, believed in causes. He was a man of faith and of honor. But, the rights of others, to vote and to have the same rights as any other human being. And this was making a great man for him, that he was not just, a man of righteous belief, but also he was a family man. And he had a lot of respect for him. Especially, he had also his own organization, which promoted the, to save the rest of the world, you might well say, to help You know, I know I'm not this good at because there's so much information about this man. I was trying to get it all together right, and he had his own organization, which was the Desmond Tutu organization, which was to promote, freedom, to help the poor, the hungry, the struggling children and people around the world. And he was a family man, truthfully a family man, being a father, a grandfather, a great grandfather. He wanted to spend more time with his family while he was still living. And he had just just a zest for life. Like, I found this picture of him riding a horse. I mean, this is, he's like, just, this is just amazing. And the friendships he earned, like hear him with Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson, just chilling and swimming together. I mean, that is just cool. And his friendship with Dalai Lama is just one of those friendships that just, I think these guys in their past life were best friends. And even though, like I said, him and Desmond, the great late Nelson Mandela had their differences when it comes to apartheid, they still fought for the right of Africa to be free from apartheid, and you got to respect that. And he even touches the next generation, being you have Harry and Megan, and he's still just with Archie, he's just a great man, he even touched the hearts of children. And he also had several books written. There was so many books he had. This here, God Has a Dream, and he just, just did so much. And even though there was a movie about him, he had Forrest Whitaker played him. The movie was called Forgiven. Actually, the movie was going to be called the Bishop and the Archbishop and the Antichrist. It was about the story of a serial guy who was a murderer, and his redemption and his forgiveness for his crimes he did. And, this was I never seen the movie. I might see the movie. It was back in 2017 the movie was made. And, Forrest Whitaker, he's a great actor. I mean, this is the second time he's playing a African legend. He played, what's the face, in the King of Scotland. And now he plays Desmond Tutu. And even though he was struggling with his diagnosis with cancer and fighting, he still was just there when it was needed, And he was a big fan of rugby. When he was young, he used to play rugby. And he was a big fan of that sport. He's still a big fan of rugby. Rugby is kind of like a offshoot of football, but it's totally different. You have rugby and you have, but but like I said, had an infection, which seriously, really affected him. And that's what it was, where he succumbed to because of his battle with not colon cancer, prostate cancer. But it's a sad day that we lost a great man. And you know what? There's so much. I was researching this thing and I wanted to be so right, but I know he probably would love the fact that somebody like myself, who really respected him and who he was and what he did. I mean, it's a great loss, especially to South Africa, not just South Africa, to Africa and to the whole world. This man was truly a man of faith, and there's no other man like him nowadays. So many people who are supposed to be about God and the beliefs of Jesus sometimes are not those same people. But like I said, Bishop Tutu was a great man. He was a man of faith, a man of love, a man of family, a man of the people, and a champion. And I know, like somebody told me a long time ago, God often wants the best, especially he wants angels to fight against the war of evil and Satan. He wants only the best. And that's what was, Bishop Tutu was. He was the best. Like, he was no perfect man. He knew that. But you know what? He wanted people to understand that, evil cannot be stopped if, like, basically what's that old saying? For order the evil to prevail, for evil to prevail, good men who do nothing. I forget how to say it, but, if you know what it is, you heard it before. It's just been said before. But like I said, it's so sad that we lose this great man at 90 years of age, and it's just, but like I said, this is, I think, one of the biggest deaths of this year. And at the end of this year, as we know, we're a few more days to wind the clock and saying goodbye to 2022 and all the people who were just important to this world. Rest in peace, Archbishop Tutu. There will be another one. There will never be anybody like you. It's me on the Waitress page. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out.